everybody, I'm Julie with Stitches of Love Quilting, and I'd like to welcome you to this Thursday's installment of Spooky Week. And today I'm going to be showing you how to machine applique one of the blocks in the Boo Crew Quilt, which is this one, Whoopsie Witch. She kind of fell in her own pot of her own stew. So we'll be working on this in just a second. Thank you so much for joining us, and we apologize for being just a smidge late, but we sort of had a little technical difficulty, if you catch my drift. So anyway, Libby, you want to scoot over here close to me and we can show everybody how we work this. Now what I have done is my sewing machine is set up with 30 weight thread in the top for the needle, and then I have a 50 weight bobbin of black. Most of the stitching that we do with the Boo Crew is done in black because it's Halloween and it just works and it's fun. Now on my machine I also have, if you can see here, an open toe foot. Let me put this orange under here. You see how this is so wide open here? This is so that we can see where we're going when we do our blanket stitch around all these little pieces. I have my machine set up to do a blanket stitch, and I like to use 2 by 2 most of the time. That's the setting that I use. In other words, it's 2 stitches long, and the length of the width of the stitch biting in is 2, which is what we use when we're sewing straight stitches, is 2. So we're used to that number. So just think 2 by 2. On smaller bits, when I do these little cauldron decorations, I will bring it down to a smaller size. But first, let's get started, and we'll do something simple. I like to work from the part in the back. So I'm going to go around this bottom area here around the little cauldron, and I'm going to stitch this edge here for you. So let me put this under here. I line this up. Now there's different ways to do this. I like to have mine so that where I'm going to be stitching is right in the middle. Let me move this speed down to slow so you can see what's happening. I also stitch by using my thumb instead of the foot pedal. See, and then I can use a single stitch if I need to. So we're right here on the edge, so we're going to pivot. If you have a knee lift, that makes it really easy. You don't have to even use your hand to do it. So here we come down again. We're keeping the needle so that it bites in right at the very outer edge of the piece. Sorry for that little offensive little beep, but it's letting us know what's happening here. There we go. See that? Now, I'm going to bring that out there. We're going to take one more little stitch here, and then we're going to snip our threads. Okay, we're going to move down here, and we're going to finish this side on the bottom. And then I'm going to go around the pot so that I can show you how I go around curves. I hope you guys have been having fun with us during Spooky Week. We've had a lot of fun. We sort of had the giggles at the beginning, I believe. There we go. The reason I like to use the 30 weight thread in the top is because it gives a little heft to this stitch, and you can see this stitch is taking, watch this, it takes a little stitch here, and then it bites in, and then it comes out and takes another bite forward. My feed dogs are never pulling my fabric backwards, which gives me more control over the stitch. Now I'm going to cut it again. Okay, so we see I've been able to keep this right on the edge of my stitch, and normally I would pull these to the back and tie them off. Okay, so now I'm actually going to start over here, and we're going to come down this long stretch here and come on this little slight gentle curve, and then around the outer edge of this pot. Okay, so we'll see this. I'll get my needle right in here. We're just going to let it go. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit because I don't want you guys to get too bored, but I do want you to see. It's just important to keep the needle making its entry into the outer edge, or it will fray the edge of your applique piece. Did you see that one stitch that got on the edge? Also, if you're using a contrasting thread like this, it'll show if you miss. Okay, so now we're going to come down here Gonna bite right back in. And then we're just gonna come down. Whenever I get to a point where I'm gonna be having to pivot, I usually slow down and do it with my hand. Take a little stitch right there. And now we'll be right in position. Slow that back a little bit. Now, when you're coming on a curve, you want to try to keep it so that your fabric, it's always going to bite in perpendicular to the edge of your fabric. See, so if you don't, you end up with a slanted piece or slanted stitches. I see that Sandra said hello. Hi, Sandra. Thanks for joining us today. Whoop. And April's here from California. Hi, April. Now see, I didn't pivot when I should have, and my stitch is like a little tiny stitch right there. Doesn't look so pretty. So what I'm going to do is just pull my fabric back a little bit. This is a cheater method, you guys. There. When you've been doing applique for a while, you learn how to cheat sometimes. Not always the best thing. I'm sure no one else does that. I'm just the only delinquent appliquer to cheat. A cheater.
It's what the masters do.
Yeah, there you go. But I think it's so fun with these little critters because, for one thing, or monsters I should say, they are so cute. And it's just fun to stitch and just be, you know, having to stitch in black is really fun because it gives it such a contrast. And it's kind of cartoonish. And it's just fun. So, if you can't tell, I'm using my knee lift to pivot, which is so nice. Just got to remember to give it a little swoosh there. Whoops, I'm sorry. Got to remember where everything is on every machine. I've been using a machine at home at night, and it's different than this one, so they all act a little different. So try to get real familiar with your machine. There we go. I like to take at least one stitch over where I started just to kind of help secure it. There. See? Can you see that? Now, I'd like to invite all of you who haven't been watching us for Spooky Week to go back. I don't think it was yesterday, or was it the day before? We did a questionnaire. We played a little game. What was the name of that game, Libby?
That was Flash Questions, Spooky Week style.
Yes, it was so much fun. Crazy little questions, but we posted the questions as well. And if you answer the questions, then, and you don't have to answer all of them. You can answer just one if you want to. But then you will be entered to win a gift for the Applique laser cut pieces pillow kit for the Jack-o'-lantern pillow.
And you have until tomorrow. So if you go back and watch episode 36 of Stitch and Chit Chat, they ask a couple questions at the beginning. I think there's a total of 8 Halloween themed questions. Mm-hmm. And then they'll give you the prompt and you can comment with your answers.
Yeah.
And then you're officially entered.
It was fun. And I've thought of some different answers that I would have. One of the things I'll tell you guys, when Brittany was, like a favorite Halloween memory, when Brittany was 5, she was Snow White, and we lived in this little town, this little, very southern town with big southern mansions, and so we trick-or-treated, and Brittany would go up on the porch, and she said, on her own, she thought of saying this, "Have you seen my dwarfs?" Because she was looking for the 7 dwarfs, and people were just going crazy because she looked so cute. She really looked like Snow White. Anyway, that's my favorite little Halloween memory.
So cute.
It was fun.
Christine says hi, Julie, from Northern Indiana. And Doris says hello from Southern California.
Hi, Doris. Hi, Christine. I'm so glad you could join us today. Now, Do I need to do some more stitching, or do we need to just talk about something else? What can we
They
do?
might like to see a little bit more, maybe some of the smaller pieces, like the orange
smaller pieces?
X's.
Oh, those are my least favorite part. Maybe could I do some stripes?
Yeah, let's do stripes.
Let's do stripes. Now, when you have smaller pieces, I'm going to take my stitch down. So I'm taking this stitch down to a 1.5 and a 1.5 by 1.6. It's just how this machine is quirky. Again, that's 1.5 for this length of the stitch, or the width of the stitch biting in, and 1.6 for the distance between the stitches. Okay? So on these, I would start, I always like to start on something that's going to be adjacent to somewhere. So I'm going to go around this, come down this purple this way into the purple and stop. And then this one I'll start right here and go around this way. You kind of want to look at what you're doing and come up with a plan for what seems to be the easiest way that you can stitch. Okay, so now you'll see this is smaller. Now, if you have a machine that has a stitch where it takes a couple little stitches on the side before it bites in, that's ideal. You end up with a little bit more control. This particular machine will only let me have one stitch in between. I don't know if you've noticed that. So, and I always check myself first. Now you'll see this is much smaller. It's actually having 2 stitches in between. There. Okay, so now we're going to pivot. When you have little pieces, sometimes it feels like all you're doing is coming along with the single stitch BB button. And Sandra, I see that you asked about Brittany and her embroidery machine fix problem. Yes, she came in here in a panic to me yesterday and was like, Mom, come here, the machine is broken. I don't know what to do. So we went back there and we looked, and it was the bobbin. She had used a bobbin that the machine doesn't like. It's an embroidery bobbin, but it just doesn't like it. So we switched back to a straight cotton bobbin, and she was good to go. So we were very happy that the machine didn't have to travel 100 miles to the doctor, because we don't have a doctor here in town for our machines. Okay, so we're going to come right here on this one and come around. I was secretly hoping the machine was broken bad so we could buy a new machine. Brittany doesn't know that's how I felt. Actually, she might suspect it, but it really was, it's fine. So it can be.
I can hear you from the other room.
Oh, she says she can hear me.
Did everybody hear that? Brittany just said, I can hear you from the other room. Oh my goodness.
Oh, see, I can't get away with anything, you guys. Nothing. She hears everything. Okay. See, so we're just coming along here on these little bits. If you really want me to do an X, I'll do an X. I don't want to. They're scary. Like this whole witchy poo. Actually, how could a witch be scary if she fell in a pot? I mean, seriously. Right? There.
Cute.
And trim your little threads. If you were doing this for real, like this is just a sample for us, but I would pull it to the back and tie it off if you're not going to use a secure stitch, like a tacking stitch or finishing stitch. But anyway, this is it. Now, once you get done with this block, then she gets cute little buttons for her boots. And I think a button goes in the center of each one of these little X's on her pot. Now, I did use yellow for the star just because I thought that would look better than the black. So, do we have any other questions?
Not right now. Sandra says she's so happy for you. That's what she would have done
Oh, good.
for the embroidery bobbin.
It was the bobbin. You know, really, like when a machine messes up, first thing to do is check your needle and your bobbin and your thread and top. Just kind of like start all over again. Turn it off and run away and cry and then come back. Go get your mommy. If you can get your mommy. I was like, what happened? She was so dramatic. Of course.
No, she did it all really well.
Yeah. So, But when I saw that block, it was surprising how that bobbin thread was just making a perfect stitch on top.
Mm-hmm.
It was really surprising. And I don't know why commercial embroidery machines, or not commercial, but our home embroidery machines, they always want you to use a bobbin, like a pre-made bobbin. You typically don't make a bobbin that matches. Whereas I typically do. Like this has black. So I guess I'm going to have to end this little spooky week because pretty much for once I'm at a loss for anything extra to say other than thank you so much for participating in the Boo Crew and our spooky week. And if you like this video, please give us click that little like button and say, I like that, because it'll make me feel good. And I hope that you all are having fun with anything that you're sewing this week.
And if you want to join the Boo Crew, where can they go?
Oh, if you want to join the Boo Crew, please visit us at stitchesoflovequilting.com and just click on clubs, block of the month. I think it says block of the month.
If they just scroll down on the page, they'll come to learn more about the Boo Crew, and you can choose the club that's right for you there.
Oh, see, Libby knows.
So we have it for sewing machine applique and also for embroidery machine applique.
Yes, if you want to do it my way, that's classic. Just think classic, old, like classic cars. And if you want to do it the modern way with the embroidery machine, that's plus. Okay? Bye, everybody. A happy stitching.